Hi, everybody from the Western Ag Network. I'm Russell Nimitz alongside my broadcast partner, Lane Nordland, and we're in Great Falls, Montana this week where it's rodeo time.
That's right. The 44th Montana Pro Rodeo Circuit Finals officially kicks off tomorrow, but it is rodeo week here in the Electric City. And, you know, Russell, I've been to this rodeo quite a bit, and this is the warmest weather I think Great Falls has ever had. It's not 20 below zero. It's actually about 30, 40 above.
Yeah.
So it's going to be some nice weather for folks to travel here to Great Falls this week.
You and I were just talking about that. You know, we were kind of raised in this neck of the woods and coming down as kids and teenagers and young adults. This is kind of unheard of for Great Falls and the Electric City to be 30 and 40 degrees for the Montana Pro Rodeo Circuit Finals.
No, that's true. The wind didn't blow much today either, but I'm not going to mention the wind too much here today, but we'll take this good weather. But Russell, 44 years, and we're going to be broadcasting every night at 6 p.m. before the rodeo, but we're doing a little kickoff show here tonight from the Heritage Inn as our contestants get into a town. And of course, that first night is Patriot Night, and we are going to be paying tribute to our veterans and our current men and women that wear the uniform tomorrow night there at the Four Seasons Arena. It's going to be an exciting night.
Well, the whole week is really going to be exciting, and we're excited to be here in the Electric City just as the Cowboys and Cowgirls are, because this truly is the culmination of last year's season and those who have earned the right to perform here in Great Falls this week. And of course, we couldn't be here without the tremendous support from our sponsors, Columbia Grain, Mishimima Reserve, American Wagyu Beef, and of course, Western Ranch Supply.
All great advocates for our farmers and ranchers out there. And like I always say, rodeo is the official sport of rural America, and we're happy to be bringing you this pre-rodeo show every single night. But you know what? The real show is in the Four Seasons. So hopefully just our little back and forth here over the next few days. If you're free, head on over to Great Falls. There's still a few seats available. And Patriot Night, again, that kicks off tomorrow night at 7 p.m. there at the fairgrounds in Great Falls.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're set up to have a tremendous week of rodeo here in Great Falls. And of course, we're tickled to be up in this neck of the woods, broadcasting live each night, as Lane has mentioned, starting at 6 o'clock Mountain Time and really running right up until the performance that starts at 7 o'clock p.m. And we also just want to give a quick mention to our friends, Scott Frazier and Sam Frazier with Frontier Productions, because doing any sort of live thing anymore, whether it's radio and in this case, video, just doesn't happen on its own. And because of Frontier Productions, we're able to come to you tonight live via this stream on the Western Ag Network Facebook page.
Via Starlink.
Starlink.
Elon Musk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
it's nice to have that.
We've got a lot of excitement going on and uninterrupted internet service, hopefully. And again, we're just really excited to be up here in Great Falls. And of course, tonight's program here on this show, I mean, we've got a tremendous lineup ahead of us.
We do, Ross, and for our viewers out on the World Wide Web, Will Rasmussen will be joining us, and I believe he is the second most popular Rasmussen behind Pete.
Yeah. You had to bring that up, didn't you?
It goes Pete Rasmussen, the Justice of the Peace, and then it goes into Will, and then there's a guy named Flint. I think he comes in third on that.
Well, and then the folks.
Yeah.
Standing to I mean, how can we forget? That's where it really started.
Yeah. So he'll be joining us here in just a few moments. And then also we have Jack Stinsland from the rodeo committee joining us.
He's the president from Wolf Point. And then we'll wrap things up tonight with the PRCA performer himself, J.C. Crowley from that Poplar Country.
It's going to be a great show.
Yep, absolutely. So we have things kind of teed up from here at the Heritage Inn in Great Falls to kick off day one of the Montana Circuit Finals in Great Falls. Stay with us. We have a lot more coming from Montana's Electric City right after this.
Protect your profits by participating in Mishima Reserve American Wagyu Beef's calf buyback program. Mishima Reserve supplies quality genetics for calf production to supply this luxury beef brand. Receive premiums above market price for your crossbred calves. Visit MishimaReserve.com.
And again, a big thank you to our friends at Mishima Reserve. A great opportunity for our cow-calf producers out there to make a little more profitability in the countryside with those crossbred calves with a little bit of Wagyu action as well.
And you were telling me we're going to have more about them in an upcoming segment and just be able to show folks maybe just how delicious their Wagyu beef really is.
Yeah, and we're maybe a cooking episode coming for our
maybe.
viewers.
Fingers crossed, Lane.
But as we mentioned before the break, we are joined by Will Rasmussen, pro rodeo announcer. Grew up not too far away from here on the Rocky Mountain front. And Will, as we gathered this week, how many years have you been the voice of the Montana Pro Rodeo Circuit Finals?
A couple of things I want to clear up here. I didn't grow up. I grew older. Stan, Tootie, I think this is the 26th time I've been asked to.
Wow, 26
announce.
years.
Can you imagine?
That's just about how old Lane is.
I know. I was looking at his scruff there, and I go, "Geez, I just want to be him for a day." And, I think the 26th time when 27th, Jack Stensland
we're
just
getting
hollered at
finger
me.
cues, and he actually used his pointer and not another one.
That's right. So and you just always feel so fortunate because it's not a foregone conclusion. There's a lot of guys, there's 50 guys out there that want to be me this weekend. And so, boy, you saw my notes there. I work harder now than I did 27 years ago. I can tell you that. And it's a big honor and a big thrill, and back home.
Exactly. I mean, I was pretty impressed when you were going through your notes and your homework. I mean, they were actually printed out instead of, I was expecting maybe handwritten. So you know how to run a computer. That's good.
Kind of.
That's good. Well,
don't ask around. A little bit.
right.
A little bit.
Well, we're teed up for an exciting week, as I mentioned before the break. And really this comes on the heels of, the 2022 Wrangler National Finals Rodeo down there in Las Vegas. And how cool is it to come back from there where some of these cowboys and cowgirls were actually at, and now we get to showcase them back here in Big Sky country.
I think it's cool because, a lot of these people that watched the NFR on TV or watched it live on rodeo's biggest stage, well, this is a big stage too. And for 46 years, the people here in North Central Montana, it's like a midwinter reunion, Cavan is just thinking about getting started, and the farming's done, and it's just like old home week. And after this week, well, we can go home and go to work now. And they're all, you mentioned the weather, it's not 30 below, but even when it's 30 below, people come and they sell it out. And boy, it is good to be home. I can tell you, it is good to be in Great Falls.
And what are some of those key changes that you've seen in those 27 times you've been there in the Four Seasons Arena? What are some of those positive things that have occurred over that time period?
Well, the competition's always great, right? It's a culmination of the year, and then and the competitors are just as excited now as they were back then. The bells and whistles, a more, and you see this at every rodeo. There's production, replay, graphics, music, great sound, and a production schedule. And that's what I've noticed at all the rodeos you go to, because the people of rodeo know they're now competing for the entertainment dollar. And you know what? They need to make it a fan-friendly experience, and they do. And boy, the crowds the last 5 years, of course, 2020, but after 20, because our jobs went away in 2020. And so after that, boy, it has been absolutely mayhem everywhere, and I've loved it. I've loved it.
Well, and of course, we're going to be kicking off 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And Will, let's run through the standings of some of our top competitors and our all-around and all the events going on. Let's start with the all-around standings. And I tell you what, it's going to be a race to the top between two very, very top cowboys.
Oh, Caleb Berquist, now he's entered in 2 events here, so he can win money in 2 events here. He's a former circuit champion, but then Haven Medjid, who's a world champion, he's gone to 4 straight NFRs, finished 8th in the world, and Landon Williams down in 3rd place too. He won the aggregate and went to the NFR Open in Colorado Springs last year. So, boy, and Landon's in 2 events as well.
Right.
But boy, Haven Medjid, his hair will be on fire, but he is such a cool, calm guy. And Caleb Berquist from Washington, he is something. He finished in the top 10 in the Rookie of the Year standings.
And he's an MSU Bobcat.
And he is an MSU Bobcat. That's right.
There you go. Go
Dun,
Cats.
dun, 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 dun.
Oh, there's nothing better than a Bobcat win and the theme song, or our school song, of course. And let's take a look at those bareback standings as well.
My good friend Caleb Bennett has a lead there. He just finished competing at his 10th National Finals Rodeo, and he is actually the bareback riding director in professional. So he's on the board of directors. He and I have talked about, his wife is from Salmon, Idaho. So we have a connection there a little bit. And Tristan Hansen, he's won a couple of circuit titles. He's a national circuit champion. And those two are the odds-on favorite. Well, Caleb has a pretty big lead there, about 9,000 or so. But
and what's the Buckenstock going to look like this year?
When you get J Bar J, when you get Sankey's, when you get Brookman's, and all Whitford's, I just talked to Whitford's out there.
Yeah.
When you get those guys here, they could put on an NFR by themselves.
That's what I was just going to throw in.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about the sport of rodeo itself. I mean, we have a tremendous fan base that is just continuing to grow every single day, not just here in Montana, but across America.
Yeah.
But a lot of those fans, I mean, yes, they're coming to town. They're putting their butts in their seat to watch the athletes. But we can't forget about the animal athletes out there too.
Well, everybody knows that's got a love for rodeo and has been involved in it somehow, some way, knows that rodeo livestock is the lifeblood of what we do. And you talk about changes in the rodeo industry. Those bulls are bred, and the bucking horses, and it's just unbelievable. I mean, you don't go find a spoiled horse that a 7-year-old can't ride anymore and think that horse is going to be a good bucket horse. We'll see this weekend, generational products that are livestock from these families that they live and die rodeo and their livestock. And it's an investment in time that, they really can't buck a bucking horse regularly until they're 5, 6, 7 years old.
Very true. And we're looking forward to seeing those chutes open. And let's move on to the steer wrestling now. Some outstanding names right there.
That is so good. Of course, Ty Erickson went to his 7th NFR world champion. And Newton Novich, a former Rookie of the Year and a circuit champ. Caden Camp won the circuit title in the all-around, and he made a great showing at the circuit finals. And there's Bridger Chambers. He's been to 2 NFRs. He's won a circuit title. He finished 19th in the world. He was so close to making it back, but he was fighting injuries. He didn't get a good start to 2022, but he had a good finish. Brady Boyce, the next generation of the Boyce families right there. He split the title at his hometown rodeo of Lewistown, Montana with Ty Erickson this year. I was just looking up some stats. So, well, that's a good field of steer wrestlers.
And I do want to mention to our viewers, there is 12 competitors in each event. We're just sharing the top 5 here tonight. But I tell you what, it's going to be a great rodeo. And then moving into the Teamer Open now.
Yeah, boy. Anything can happen. There's Brady Tryon. Boy, there's a close race, huh? $1,300 or so. Brady Tryon's won the last couple of circuit titles, and there's Justin Viles on top, and of the healing, and so Sean Bird, of course, with a name like Bird, you got to be good, and those 2 guys in the top 5 are.
Yeah,
and
Dellin Parker.
There's Dellin.
He's pretty good.
I root for Dellin, and I did for a long time. He was to so many circuit finals, never won a circuit title. A couple years ago, he finally won a circuit title.
Yeah.
And so Ian Ostagi is there. Everybody's within striking distance, and this is a tough arena to team rope in.
Absolutely.
Anything can happen, and it usually does.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Let's take a look at that. Do we have the healing standings right there too? There we go.
There's Justin. Yeah, good man, husband, family man, and a great healer. He's won 3 or 4 circuit titles. And Zach Schweiger, Brandon Williams, we talked about him, and we'll see his name in the tie-down roping as well. Sid Sporer is a 3-time circuit champ. Sam Levine from about 40 miles away. And Woman's Corner. Those are all won money here last year, and he's Sam Levine's a former all-around champion of the circuit finals rodeo. I love it here.
Oh, it's going to be a great rodeo.
You guys are making my
And we're only
blood
halfway
boil.
through the competition
Yeah,
right
I know.
now. We
You
still
guys
got
are-
the rest of the rodeo to talk about.
You guys
so-
are
We haven't even
making my
bucked
blood
anything yet.
boil, man. Oh, boy. Yeah.
And that's the thing, Will. I mean, for our viewers at home, we're here tonight at the Heritage Inn as we get ready to kick things off tomorrow night here in town. But Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, you're going to join us every single night at the top of this broadcast to kind of, set the stage for the evening's performance. And then also, when we get into Friday and Saturday, start recapping how the night before went. So we got a lot to go through still. And now we're on to Saddle Bronc.
There we go. Alan Gobert, he's comes in on top of the standings, and Jesse Cruz. I don't know how many circuit titles he's won. He's won a world title.
Yep.
He's won at least 6 circuit titles. World champion, 3-time national finalist. Quentin Stroh might not be a name that you recognize.
I recognize the name.
His dad, Sean Stroh, made it to the finals, was a circuit champion, and I introduced myself to him because there's he and a brother, and so I said, "Is Sean your dad?" Yeah. So anyway, and there's young Caleb Meeks from Geraldine right there. He goes to school at MSU, and he just kind of came into his own too. And the Saddle Broncs can be. Boy, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
That is the classic event of rodeo. Well, let's wrap things up with Will and go through the rest of the standings.
Let's got a few more here. It's tie down rope in there.
That's the closest race right there. Haven Medjid and Caleb Bergquist and Landon Williams with all his talent. But boy, it's going to be a battle to the finish, isn't it? Haven Medjid just won 70 or 80,000 at the NFR. And this, what's funny, it doesn't matter if they've been to the finals or not. But when they get to come home to Montana, it's something special.
Yeah.
So,
and you had the wild man, Jay Gardner on the coming in 5th.
The Win It Angus Razor.
Yes,
that's right.
That is
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, you bet.
All right. Taking a look now at those breakaway roping. Now, this is a newer event for attendees to watch at the circuit finals. An outstanding young lady there with Elizabeth French on the top.
Oh, look at that. Look at how close that is. My goodness gracious.
I think this could be one of the best events to watch.
It is, and anybody that knows about breakaway roping knows if it's going to happen in a hurry, in about 2 seconds. So that's a great bunch. Joey Williams, we just watched her at the NFR, and boy, yeah, that's good.
And I think we got about 2 more events, coming up here for us. We got the barrel racing standings. Abby Knight, 21,000. So a little bit of separation there, but anything can happen in that arena.
Brittany Barnett won all 3 rounds and the aggregate last year to take home all the top honors. Tammy Carpenter, look at there. Aaron Williams has won an aggregate title, and Abigail Knight from Charlotte, Montana, got a great horse and got about a $5,000
There's a lot
lead.
of tight races in this deal.
Yeah, and you know what? There's record prize money. I got to find out what the go rounds pay, and then the aggregate, and then, but every year it goes up, which it should.
Yep, absolutely. And finally, our bulls, our
Coley,
bull riding will be our last event here to cover today.
Yeah, Cole Wagner is back to defend the title he won last year. Tristan O'Neill from Valier, they're both from Valier, Montana. Kobe Whitford from Cutbank Browning area. Cole Hould. Connor Murnion had a great year, and on these standings, it doesn't reflect the money he won in Ellensburg and the Calgary Stampede. He finished in the top 40 in the world.
And again, these are the Montana
Montana,
standings.
right? And Coley Wags caught fire. The Cole Wagner, I call him Coley Wags. That's his Instagram handle. And
Used to be a CB handle back
Yeah,
in the day. Now we
yeah.
got Instagram.
10-4 Red Rider. I know that's that's going to be great, and I'm glad you guys are here. We appreciate you. You know, people like you and other venues and media outlets are the reason that rodeos become more popular. It's okay to go buy a ticket to the rodeo. Your kids aren't going to be offended, and just come see us. We have JJ Harrison for the clown, Brad Narducci's the sound is an award-winning sound man, Scott Walton and Andrew Jones on the big screen and the video. It's just a team effort, and with the great committee, Jack will talk about it, but it's first class, it's world class, and we're glad you're here.
Well, we are too, and it's so family oriented too. I mean, that's another positive thing in the right direction when we still talk about the sport of rodeo. But thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We're looking forward to more visits as the week goes on.
I hope I don't talk too much, but it's what I do.
That's
it's what we do too.
I know, right?
Thanks for letting me come on. Thanks,
Absolutely.
guys.
Thanks, Will. Well, hey, we're going to be back with more conversations. Jack Stinsland's going to join us from the committee, but we'll be back right after these words.
Western Ranch Supply has been your local tack and saddle headquarters since 1954. Stop by one of the stores, either in Billings or Great Falls, or shop online at westernranchsupply.com.
How close is this?
Continuing our conversations tonight from Great Falls, Montana, as we broadcast and kind of kick off the 2023 Montana Pro Rodeo Circuit Finals from here at the Heritage Inn. Of course, before the break, we were talking with Pro Rodeo announcer Will Rasmussen, and now we're able to visit with Jack Stinsland. He's the president of the Montana Pro Rodeo Committee from Wolf Point. By the way, this first shoot side conversation is brought to you by our friends at Columbia Grain. Lane, they really are cultivating growth across their entire footprint here in the Northern Plains, helping to expand markets for those commodities we're raising. And at the end of the day, they're also helping these farmers and ranchers put a little bit more money in their pocket.
Well, they are, and they're a backbone of our rural communities and truly help these producers stay in business and have those resources. So we appreciate all they do for producers out in the countryside.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know Columbia Grain is a well-known name up in Northeast Montana, where Jack is from, that Wolf Point country. And thank you so much for being with us tonight to kind of help us kick off festivities here in Great Falls. And truly is. Rodeo is in the air here in the Electric City.
Well, it's a lot nicer air here than it is at home. I know that. It was 5 above when I left home Sunday, and it was 41 degrees when we got to Great Falls, so it's wonderful. Yeah.
Well, Jack, I tell you what, coming to town, it's a big event every single year. And as we look forward to this 44th year of the Montana Pro Rodeo Circuit, what's in store for not only the contestants, but attendees coming to town to really experience what is Rodeo Week?
You know, everybody talks about the bucking horses in Montana and how electric they are, you know, and a lot of people take it for granted. You know, the PRCA judges that come here, they put in to come judge this rodeo because it's like a mini NFR on the bucking horses. It's these boys got their hands full.
Well, and you guys on the committee are also pouring a lot of man hours into this deal this week here in Great Falls to make sure this remains and continues to be one of the premier events in the sport of rodeo.
Well, we got a strong board that believes in rodeo in Montana. So, and trying to fulfill the dreams of these cowboys that are going to the 35 to 43 rodeos that we have in the summertime. And so the board is in the right way because we are, if not the highest, we are close to the highest paying circuit. And we don't have we got a big old state. I mean, we're a long ways away from anywhere. But you know, it's just the fans in Great Falls, the communities that all support this rodeo, this circuit. It's just been great.
And how many rodeo committees are out there across the state of Montana? As you said, we have a big state, but people come from all over, contestants, just to compete during the summertime.
Well, there's 38 to 43 rodeos in the summer. It fluctuates a little bit, but it's a lot. You know, I live in Wolf Point, so you got to be going someplace to get there. You know, and these guys don't care about $5 gas. They're hitting the road. They're going to 15 rodeos. You got to go to 15 rodeos to qualify for this. The people that want to come to Montana and have an M on their card, they got to go to 23. So it's a lot of fuel, and there's a lot of guys do it.
You know, as we talk about this event, you know, being held here in Great Falls now, I mean, Montana's Electric City. This community really does roll out the red carpet for all the athletes, stock contractors, the fans, and everybody else in between that you know pay hard-earned money to buy a ticket to come to Great Falls and watch some great rodeo.
You know, in the year of the flu, you know, there was the health departments and everything else. You know, we went to Kalispell, had a great time, received really well. Things went really good in Kalispell. We had to lower the purse and everything else. But when we got back here last year, and the arms that just reach out and grab you, you know, we're home. This is pretty cool. The sponsors in Great Falls, the people that want to come and see the best rodeo in the state, they're going to come.
Well, when you talk about that entertainment, that experience that rodeo fans have when they're in the Four Seasons Arena, and again, we have a few seats available for tomorrow night's performance at Thursday Night Patriot Night, but how important is it for those rodeo athletes to have that enthusiasm coming from the crowd when they're going for a year-end title?
You know, especially at this building, you know, it's a hockey rink, basically. It's 90 feet wide and 170 feet long, and there's not a bad seat in the house, for one thing, because and everybody's up close and personal. They see everything that's there. We're providing the big screen so they can get their instant replay. So in case they're talking to their buddy or taking care of their kids, they can reach up and take a look and see what just happened. You know, what was everybody wooing about?
Taking selfies these days. Taking selfies, Jack, and posting them on social media like we're doing tonight. Well, there is lots of tickets still available for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Well, I shouldn't say lots. Those ticket sales are slowly dwindling. But so if you haven't bought your tickets, you need to jump online at rodeomontana.com and get those tickets. But I just wanted to follow up. I mean, we were talking with Will just a little bit about how the sport of rodeo, the athletes and everybody else, it truly is just an extended family of your own. And the athletes themselves, they like to go out into the communities that they're participating in and, you know, and help educate others and just showcase the sport of rodeo. And that's going to take place here in Great Falls this week. You know, one of those things that come to mind is the bullfighter is going to be visiting some schools.
Bullfighters are going to some schools. JJ is going to be at the schools. That guy that you just had speaking up here, he's going to the chamber deal tomorrow. Yeah, everybody's out making sure everybody understands rodeo. You know, this is a tough sport, and it's, you know, it's said over and over and over. We got the best livestock, we've got the best contestants in Montana, and you're going to miss something if you don't get here.
Very, very true. And I tell you what, if you're tuning in and you haven't made plans to come to Great Falls, as we mentioned earlier, the weather is fantastic for this time of the year. Head to town. There's plenty of hotels nowadays, because I know back in the day, hotel rooms used to be quite a deal to try to get one, but there's quite a lot of nice new hotels that they have some rooms available too.
There's places to stay all over Great Falls, you know, and they're going to open their arms up for you. And if they don't have a room, they're going to tell you a place that does. And so it's all about the community. You know, it's all about the Montana Pro Rodeo family. So there we go.
Yeah, well, come to Great Falls. Hey, speaking of communities, you said your hometown community, or at least where you call hometown now, Wolf Point, is having a pretty big celebration this summer.
Well, we've been at it a while up there. You know, we're going to have our 100th Wild Horse Stampede this year. 5th, 6th, and 7th, and 8th. We're going to have Ranch Rodeo on Friday night. Kyle Shobe and the Wacom boys are going to be. We're going to have a concert. We're going to have a party.
We might have to do a broadcast from up there at that.
I don't see why
we'll make it work.
Okay. Well, Jack Stenzel, thank you so much for joining us. And to not only you, but all the entire rodeo committee, it takes a lot of time to come together and really put on a true production. So tip of the hat to you and the entire committee and all the sponsors out there. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we have a lot more headed your way from Great Falls here at the Heritage Inn as Lane and I continue our coverage. Really, the start of our coverage this week from the Electric City from here at the Montana Pro Rodeo Circuit Finals. So we have one more guest standing by to join us before we wrap things up. So please stay with us. We'll be right back from Great Falls after these messages.
Columbia Grain is cultivating growth for their producers and families here in Montana and throughout the Pacific Northwest to help nourish the world safely. CGI is here to help ensure their producers have a successful 2023.
Well, as we come back from the Heritage Inn here in Great Falls, Montana, we are preparing for the 44th Montana Pro Rodeo Circuit Finals. Ross, it officially kicks off tomorrow night.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to that, but it wouldn't be a rodeo broadcast without having a rodeo contestant with us here today.
Well, absolutely, and we can't forget to mention Western Ranch Supply
that's right. Thank you,
as
Western
our
Ranch.
second shoot side conversation sponsor tonight. Of course, they've been serving the big country for a lot of years. In fact, probably longer than you and I have been alive. But anyways, Western Ranch Supply serving the big country. I mean, we could talk about them all day long. I mean, from saddle to tack, calving headquarters to they even have toys. They have a toy department now at both their locations in Billings and Great Falls. Trucks and tractors, and why not just bring in JC Crowley right now, because
he might need to get some of those toys.
He might need to get some of those while he's up here in Great Falls. And JC, thank you for joining us. Of course, you're one of the contestants this week here in Great Falls from Poplar, and as we've been talking, obviously it is a family event for you guys in the Crowley family, both you and your wife and your whole family are up here. Talk about being back in Great Falls.
Well, I've grown up here, and so it has been a tradition for me. I was this age when my dad made it so many years, and so it's good to get to bring them and my son and my daughter, and then my wife making it too. So it's a family deal, and it's special.
And you talk about that family aspect of it. That's been the theme of our conversations today, how rodeo truly is a family community. How important is it, though, for the Great Falls community to come out and support all these rodeo athletes?
Well, anytime we can get anybody to come watch us do this, it's great. But we think it's pretty special, and I think it's worth doing, and hopefully we can put a good enough show that people enjoy it.
Well, how many years have you been coming to this now? And Jack wanted us to ask you, how old were you during the first one?
Well, I made it I wrote it on my permit 2 years. They let me fill my permit and go twice. So I bought it when I was 18. And so this is 24 years.
Wow.
So,
and what's it been like? What have been some of those key changes? I asked Will about that. He's announced this event 27 times. What are some of those key changes for yourself, developing, becoming a better roper? What's that been like for you?
Time management.
Yeah.
Time management. That's it. It's hard enough to get to go in the summer anymore. I've got a lot of kids, but or got 2 kids, and I've got a lot of responsibilities at home. But the main thing is, I guess, is this is the most important part, and this is why we drive all night to get home and put up some hay or cut some crops or whatever we do. This is why we do it.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you, JC. I mean, because this isn't your full-time job. I mean, this is a very important part of your life, obviously, and for your wife. But I mean, like you said, you are a farmer and rancher back along Montana's Highline. So in that Poplar country, and a lot of times you are at a rodeo, and you also have to take care of things at home with your kids too.
Yeah. It's go around the other way. Okay. Go
and
find
Lane,
him.
this is why we do live TV.
This is why we
because
do live
this
TV.
is exactly what
Parenting.
you don't get on pre-produced programs that are taped hours in advance. This is real TV, or real video in this case. It's just fun.
It is.
We know what it's like.
Oh,
We've
gosh.
got little
We
ones
got
at
little
home.
ones at home.
Yeah.
So, anyways, continue on though. I mean, you're also a professional farmer and rancher.
Yeah, that's what pays the bills, because I don't get to do this enough anymore. I did for a little bit when I was younger, but it's hard to have both a professional career and then both two professional careers. Some people can manage it. I don't know if I was that multi-capable, I guess.
You know what, though? It probably helps to have a wife that actually is in the sport that you're doing and also actively participating, wouldn't you think?
Well, she does my taxes. So she's a full-time professional accountant, and she works from home. So it's, she pays the bills and writes the checks and less for me to worry about, and I get to rope a little.
And JC, you also Indian Rodeo as well, made the INFR several times too. How important is it to keep the tradition in the native community going as well in the rodeo sport?
Well, they make it pretty easy for us to go to them as well. There's quite a few of them up here in the summer. This is a big area for Indian Rodeo, and they let us have a finals in October that's pretty good. So get to rope a little through the fall and then continue this way. But yeah, the Indian Rodeo has been able to kind of keep me going too.
Well, bringing back things back to here in Great Falls, JC, I mean, what are you most looking forward to, I guess, as competition starts tomorrow and then we cruise on through Friday and into Saturday? I mean, what are you most anxious about? What are you most excited about?
Well, the first one always. The first one's fun. A lot of excitement. A lot of people show up, and hopefully they show up. But it's fun. And the first one, you get a little nerves out, and then hopefully it taps off good, and then you get a little rhythm. And by Saturday night, it's how you want to end up.
And what's it like roping in that arena? Because obviously it's not like some of those bigger outdoor arenas that you'll see throughout the summertime. But what's it like backing in there, nodding and tying a calf down there?
It's a challenging environment because the people feel like they're on top of you, and so it's really electric, really loud, and it comes with it's got its challenges, but it's exciting.
When you talk about the nerves of you as an athlete, what about the nerves of the horse that you're riding? I mean, you just talked about the experience. How do they handle an arena or a situation? Because each one of them is different.
Well, I've been lucky enough to have the same one for the last, this is his third year here, and each year's been getting better. So it's loud, and some of them don't handle it here. This is a difficult arena for some horses, but if you're lucky enough to have one, then it makes this job easy.
Your kids are seeing Daddy on TV right now.
This
just became more popular than Bluey with them at home.
We don't Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol.
Paw
We're
Patrol,
a Bluey family.
No buttons.
That one's okay. You can't really screw anything up with that one. So
Well, friends, I tell you what, JC, thanks for joining us here today, and good luck to both you and Heather. It's going to be a great weekend, and it's great seeing the family here this week.
Thanks for having us, and thanks for putting up with my wild children while my wife is at barrel racing practice.
Well, this
she's
is what
gotta
it's
get her
all
time in
about.
too.
This
So,
is what it's all about. They weren't trouble at all. Like I said, Lane and I got a few little ones at home in our households that every once in a while just pop up in a radio or TV program too. So,
well, again, thank you to JC Crowley for joining us here today. And I tell you what, friends, it's going to be a great opportunity. 44 years here at the circuit finals, and we're going to be every night, 6 o'clock, live broadcast for 45 minutes before the Pro Rodeo. And we're looking forward to joining you all here on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure come to Great Falls. You can watch us on Facebook whenever you want, but come and watch this rodeo live.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we've been mentioning, there are still a few tickets left for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You can jump online and visit prorodeomontana.com for all the details and even purchase those tickets. And again, we want to say thank you to our sponsors like Columbia Grain,
Western Ranch Supply, and Mishima Reserve Beef. And we're going to be learning more about Mishima beef tomorrow and how producers can have a crossbred product that includes Wagyu and Angus. And we're going to have a cooking segment on that.
Yeah, we even get to taste it.
We do.
It's quite the teaser you've set up for us. And we also want to thank Sam and Scott Frazier with Frontier Productions because, anything live anymore is a tremendous challenge. And when you do something remotely like this, you never can really fully depend on the internet service where you're at, but you sure can with Frontier Productions. And of course, they're doing a tremendous service for the livestock industry and purebred breeders across this entire region, aren't they?
They are. And again, thank you to Frontier Productions and Fraser Livestock for bringing that to us. And of course, big shout out to our executive producer, Paul Humphrey, who's been behind the scenes, making sure everything runs smoothly for us here at the Western Ag Network. But with that, on behalf of Russell Nimitz and the entire crew at Western Ag Network, we look forward to joining you every single night starting at 6 p.m. for the next few nights as the performances start off tomorrow night on Thursday from here in Great Falls, Montana at the 44th Montana Pro Rodeo Circuit Finals. Have a great evening, everyone.